Hi, how's it going? This is Resident of Collinwood for YouTube. Joel Saints. I'm joined by my buddy Alan Gallant, my buddy Daniel Culver, my buddy Gordon Dymowski, my buddy Patrick McCray. We're here to review Hobo with a Shotgun, recommended by yours Shirley. So, guys, I have a little fun for you. I think this is the sequel to The Loved Ones. I just want to see your
Was it?
face.
Let's
Oh,
not
you're
go
joking.
there. Let's
No,
tuck
I'm
it
just.
away in a closet and leave it there to
Oh, God. Okay. This movie is really entertaining from start.
Jewel, are you looking for me to travel all the way to you are and just pimp slap the taste out of your mouth?
Oh my God. No, this movie is entertaining from start to finish. I enjoy the action and the violence. Here's a question for you guys. Number one, when did you first see this, Alan?
when it first came out. I was interested in it because it was, it was an extension of the Rodriguez fake trailers for Grindhouse. So it was one of the actual, and I mean, there were several movies that were actually made from the so-called fake trailers. They were fake at the time, but they became actual real movies. But and then this is one of them. I'm not sure how they managed to put it together ultimately. I haven't really looked into the production history of it, but I know that getting Rutger Hauer, who is an actor who commits, even in this is the violence in this is absurdist. I use that word a lot, but it's because it applies. It's so extreme. And the interesting thing about it too is what we seem to be dealing with here is a sort of a purgatory. Because you've got characters that are coming and going from hell. So there is that sort of thing, and you get sort of that extreme dystopia of some of the Mad Max movies. The industrial murders going on, all of this sort of thing, and you have a hero who is a loner, an underdog kind of thing going on. So that to me has value. The fact that the violence is so extreme and so frequent as to be absurd also has value for me, because I think it says something about violence. I think it does. So at least it does to me.
Gordon, when did you first see this movie?
I first saw it 2 days ago when Jewel assigned it to us to watch for tonight. Like Ellen, I was interested in it as an extension of the fake trailers from Grindhouse. And I really enjoyed it. First I was surprised that the subtitle was The Jewel T. Sane Story. I was not expecting that at all. But it has that great mix of both 70s Grindhouse, where it's just kind of, the violence for its own sake. And Jewel, I don't give a crap about football, so showing me that does nothing. In fact, what it makes me want to do is to grab a golf club and whack you in the man pants. But anyway,
he's on a roll tonight, folks.
Yeah, both Grindhouse and Trauma, because it is so over the top, and it is so. I don't know if I'd read as much meaning into it as you would, Alan. But then again, it's just, I think it's.
Well, I mean, it can be just catharsis too.
It's just kind of, like right now, I would love for Rutger Hauer to come up behind Jewel with a shotgun right in the back of the head. And you think I'm kidding, Jewel, but no, I'm not. You've been kind of your behavior over the past few months has been a little nasty, and that crack about the loved one was uncalled for. I know you're going, hoo, hoo, hoo.
Put it in the closet.
No, not cool.
Oh my God. Patrick, when did you first see this?
I'm just staring into the face of God. I saw this in 2011, I believe, at the first meeting of a long-desired horror club in, which is a word I have a tough time saying, club, in Knoxville. and we showed trailers, and somebody brought a copy of Hobo with a Shotgun, so we put it on, and we had a good time. I mean, it's at a very basic level, just good rowdy fun with Rutger Hauer.
Yes.
Kind of redeeming himself after Buffy.
Thank God.
Not his finest hour. And so it was good to see him back in form, at his flesh and blood best. So, and we liked it. I like Hobo movies.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Daniel, when did you first see this?
I actually saw it today because I knew about your video, so I wanted to join, so I actually watched it. Like, I actually saw it a few hours ago, actually.
Cool. We'll start with Daniel. What did you think of the violence in this movie?
I thought it was pretty good. Like, I like that part where the guy got, he got ran over. They put that thing on him and then they put him in the, I don't know if I should say it because it sounds more perverted than it is, but the manhole.
The manhole.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought that
has
was
one.
That's what it's called.
needs
It's a
good
manhole.
Yeah.
Nothing to be ashamed of.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's actually
the
funny because they did say, then they did call it a glory hole at the end, but I think a manhole is sort of the name for this, isn't it? Of that thing.
But you have to be careful about glory holes because that's one of Jules' favorite phrases,
That's right.
and not for the reasons you would think.
Oh,
And that would be a different movie. That would be Hobo with a heart on. So not a shotgun.
yeah. Yeah, I think they did good. A good job with the violence though. And yeah, if you like a lot of blood, you'll like this movie. But this isn't like extreme. Like, it's not something I'd call an extreme horror movie. Like, extreme is like one of those real, like one of those really messed up movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no build up in horror and terror in this movie, so to speak. It's just like it's just there all the time, practically. It's part of the dramatic sort of build of each scene. Is it's punctuated by violence. So
Yeah, it's kind of like Death Wish.
It's not like this. But by the time you've seen the violence a couple of times, it's like, oh yeah, I know that. Okay.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it's kind of like Death Wish 3 with a better director.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What's interesting? Okay. What's interesting? How they, how the hobo killed the cop. I hate to say this, but I first thought they were gonna lie and she was gonna lie and say that, that she actually killed the hobo, but then they did, something else.
Yeah. Patrick, what did you think of the violence, man?
I thought it was rough and mean and this kind of thing in those boy movies you guys make me watch.
This movie, seeing it back today, makes me think like this was an unmade Punisher movie almost, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
I do have some stuff here. So development, you guys talked about fake trailer. Hobo with a Shotgun, directed by Jason Eisner, was initially, a fake trailer, as everybody's talking about, from an international contest to promote the release of Quentin Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez double feature, Grindhouse.
Right.
It won the contest and was screened in some areas of Canada as part of the actual release of Grindhouse.
Mm-hmm.
A feature-length version with Hobo with a Shotgun began principal photography in Halifax on April 19th, 2010. A teaser trailer, including behind-the-scenes test footage, was released April 26, 2010. David Brunt, who played the homeless man in the trailer, cameos in the film as a cop. It was the second of Grindhouse's fake trailers to be turned into a feature film, the first being Machete.
Yes.
The opening theme music was borrowed from the exploration from Mark of the Devil, the song Run With Us, performed by Lisa Lockheed, from the 1980s animated series The Raccoons, is played in the end credits. So there's your production note.
Yeah, that song's awesome.
Yeah. So guys, here's a movie that wasn't really intended to be a movie, and it gets made, and it's very entertaining. So what are your thoughts on that, Alan? First.
Well, I mean, it has some standard plot devices. It's got, this minority of people against this huge villainous force, this violent force. They're pushed to choose between capitulation and getting killed themselves, or adopting the violence themselves in order to fight back. So, I mean, this is done in Westerns. This is done, the guy rides into a Western town and boom. So you've got, I mean, it's done in a lot of other types of movies too, but it made me feel like it was it could be a Western if it were written a little differently and characterized and set differently. But it's typical in some ways, but again, you've got all these violent acts, and some of them are quite creative. I will give them that. But ultimately, it's all to underscore you've got this bunch of arch villains headed up by this one guy and his brother, and then you've got these couple of people that are trying to get the townspeople going, while at the same time trying to survive the onslaught of all these, kind of super villains. At least on a normal human scale, they're kind of super villains.
Yeah. Gordon.
Well, I think. Well, I mean, first, as we said before, this isn't the first movie that came out of the trailer, because you've got Machete, which is a really good movie. What was the other one that came out?
Thanksgiving.
Well, I haven't seen Thanksgiving, but to me, Thanksgiving, it's like the trailer was smart enough. I didn't think it needed to be a full-length movie, but like Machete and Hobo with a Shotgun looked intriguing enough that, yeah, you would want to see the film that they came from.
Mm-hmm.
And I think both Machete and this film leaned into the more like exploitation, action-oriented aspects of it, which I think make them, they don't feel like it's this movie could have easily been, hey, wink wink, nudge nudge, here's a hobo with a shotgun, Riker Howard. Right. But it takes itself seriously enough. I mean, there's this great, I've talked about how it's like 70s grind, 70s grindhouse with trauma, but there's also a nice kind of, the film has a very 80s-ish look, at least to my view. And I think that's what gives it that kind of the power, that it's not just this could have easily been a one joke movie.
Yes.
It could have been, okay, let's watch Rutger Hauer with a shotgun blow everyone away, which,
right.
Especially if they had a scene that featured Jewel with Rutger Hauer with the shotgun, I would definitely pay for that. Like the thing that really got me,
it's real catharsis.
I didn't really think this through, but like early in the movie, Rutger Hauer he says he wants to buy a lawnmower. So I'm thinking a riding lawnmower, so he doesn't have to walk or ride the trains. No, he's talking about a full-on lawnmower because, as he says, I'm tired of traveling. I want to start a business. So again, it's got that clever, again, and also my favorite concept is the plague. The two guys in the body armor who are just there. They're like the goth punk rock.
It's, to me, that's a definite callback to like a Mad Max kind of scenario. Mm-hmm. Those guys. But also, this whole thing is to me also it's very fateful, at least in recalling the genre of drive-in movies that Tarantino and others like him grew up on. A lot of Tarantino's fascination with violence and wild, crazy situations is from those types of movies. Everything from blaxploitation to standard creature features to dirty, hairy knockoffs that you would find at a drive-in theater back in the day.
Yeah, I mean, I can easily see the filmmakers like reaching out to Roger Corman for like help in production, and it's like, nah, I'm gonna pass. Yeah, I no, thank you.
Yeah.
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 Daniel, what did you think of the violence?
I thought it was pretty. I thought it was good. Like I think they did a good job with the violence. And yeah, actually, honestly, I expected this to be more, more cringy than it is. Like, this is still a good movie. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Just from the name, like, I don't know. For some reason, I had a low expectations, but I actually ended up having it. Actually, ended up being good. But yes, as far as the violence goes, yeah, it was pretty good. And like, yeah, I wasn't expecting the plague either.
Mm.
Yeah, like these guys, like I could see like people being afraid of them. I mean, like, the doctor shot at them and it didn't do anything.
Patrick, what did you think of the violence in this movie, man?
Joel, I want to give you a good answer to that. Can you specify the question a little more?
Well, okay.
That's not to make you defensive. I literally,
Well,
but
no.
I mean, like,
Well,
in what sense?
I do agree with what the point Daniel just made. Like, when you think about the title of this movie, and I think of what initially was behind this movie wasn't intended to be a movie at all. It was a fake trailer, right? Okay.
Huh?
So, and you think of Tarantino and Rodriguez, their movies can be very bloody and downright just wrong looking. And here's this movie that does have gratuitous. Don't get me wrong, it does have gratuitous violence, but it fits the movie in every way. It doesn't to me take it completely over the top like you would usually see. We're not talking like a Faces of Death movie here. But my question is, like, compared to movies that maybe have over the top violence, for example, let me try to think of an example. Okay. Oh god, the Kill Bill movies. That's just ridiculous.
Sure.
Like compared to that, what did you think of the violence in this movie?
Well, it was always situationally appropriate in a way that heightened the stakes. It actually never felt gratuitous. It felt extreme, but I was increasingly invested, horrified, but invested in what these characters were going to do. And because of the atmosphere of violence that existed in the movie, I'm not I'm not some weenie who doesn't like, good action in a movie, and nor am I a gore fetishist who's just going to enjoy, an inconvenient truth. I like it if it impacts the film. Now in Kill Bill, it is about the choreography.
Yeah.
Those movies were not made; they were choreographed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was a meditation on what does this stuff look like? How can it be orchestrated in a beautiful way? This is, what happens when a woman's arm is almost completely chopped off, but a spiky bone is left,
And she uses it.
and she's gone psychotic.
Yeah.
Suddenly that bone is a hell of a weapon.
Yeah.
So, they were all, I feel like there were payoffs to the use of violence in the movie, and I like that. So was it violence? Yeah, but it was just good storytelling that happened to use violence. So
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah. And in the original fake trailer, some of the scenes are very intense. It's not it was done on a lower budget, so it doesn't have the look this film did. But I think this film, and I mean this as a compliment, the gore effects look fake enough that my brain didn't go, ooh, it's just kind of like, oh, okay, yeah, that's the fake head. And okay, yeah, it's corn syrup and food coloring, and I would say, Patrick, that I know you just said you're not like an action guy, you're not a gore fetishist. I would say that those are the two things that Jewel definitely is. So I think the
He
fact that
likes,
this
but
film,
he's a big fan of the Halloween movies, and so that's not a critique. I think that's Jewel likes scary stuff.
Mhm.
If I can throw in one more thing, I would have to remember it. Completely gone.
It'll come back.
53 years old, gone.
Speaking of Halloween, do you guys notice that one of the burglars in that robbers in that one scene was wearing the witch mask from Halloween 3, or at least
Really?
similar?
Oh,
Yeah.
At least similar. Yeah.
I love that movie.
Well, didn't what was it? God, Quentin Tarantino almost did he was in talks to do a Halloween movie at one point, wasn't he?
Well, he's in talks to do a Star Trek movie.
No.
Knew that.
Yeah.
Kind of glad it fell through. I'm not sure I would be. I like Tarantino's movies. I'm not sure that merging of Star Trek and Tarantino.
I think Tarantino is now just calling the studios and saying, "Hey, I want to do your latest franchise," and like making them go nuts. Like,
Right.
let me mess with the Paramount people about Star Trek. Let me
Right.
mess with these people about Halloween. Oh, what the hell? Let's see if I can revive the whole Police Academy franchise.
I will respectfully prefer a different perspective on that. I think he is enough of a geek in the highest sense that his Star Trek movie might have been one of the best. I really think so. I think he would not want someone to leave that movie and feel like they had seen something other than Star Trek. Because I know that that's what he would want as an audience member rather than watching the director goof around. Now, it would be Star Trek with certainly an edge that it never had before. And, you can make a lot of jokes like, hand me that tricorder, the one that says badass motherfucker or whatever. Yeah. But he wouldn't do that because that's not true to that genre. I think the way that Hateful Eight or were sort of examples of their genre just heightened. Yeah. He's capable of a lot of sincerity on top of everything else. And if you listen to interviews with him, he loves Star Trek. Mm-hmm. And
loves too. So I mean, that's another thing into.
So I think there would have been something really surprising about it. I know that it was basically going to be a remake or a sequel to A Piece of the Action, which also says something really great because I love that episode. I mean, it's tempting to think of all of the ways that Tarantino could have screwed it up, but because it sort of makes its own gravy.
Yes.
But at the same time, gosh, I really wish I had seen that. Sort of like he wanted to redo James Bond, but he wanted to do them as period pieces, very true to the Fleming novels.
So 60s stuff.
Yeah, late 50s into the 60s, and I think that just would have been different. And I like, at this point in my life, I like different, not to be different, but if you're getting a genuinely fresh take on something that livens it up, we've been doing that with Shakespeare forever.
Yes.
That's what I got.
Again, with Shakespeare, you can also completely destroy it in the attempt. You need the right set of hands to do it.
Sure, and the same's true with Star Trek.
Yes.
You wouldn't want. Oh, sorry, Patrick. Go ahead.
That's okay. The worst thing happened with Star Trek.
Yeah. You just don't want something to happen where you get the wrong person in the wrong franchise, like say Tim Burton with I don't know, Dark Shadows. I'm just putting it out there.
In Tim Burton's defense, I want to mention that it was probably Zanuck that really threw the spanner in the works there, because of all the other vampire stuff that was on the market at the time.
And Burton's wife was really drunk.
I
mean,
for real, not just in character. Yeah. They were also going through, I think they were getting ready to separate and divorce too at that point in time. So I think that affected her whole thing. She was not very diplomatic in interviews about about the property at all.
Oh.
She was kind of crappy about it, but
That's not good.
I can't wait for Justin Beam to release the Tim Burton interview he did, because they talk about the 2012 Dark Shadows movie and what happened. So I don't know when he's going to do that, but
well, when they took August off of it as a writer, I had a feeling that although Tim Burton usually has hands on to everything, some of that was taken out of his hands. I really do. I'm not sure he would admit to that.
I'm sure he would
But
consider.
Richard Zanuck was a very powerful producer. I think it was his last movie too. He died not too long after that. But he was.
That was God's punishment.
Yeah, well, there you go.
That's what I got. I don't dance. This is it.
That's all right. That's all right. That'll work.
Oh my God.
Shuffle
So
up.
I gotta ask you guys, what do you guys give Hobo with a shotgun? 1 out of 10. Alan?
Creatively, I'll give it about a 9.5. I really liked it. I'm not big on a lot of violence, but the violence in this movie made sense. It did contribute to the build. It also commented, at least in the way that I saw it, it commented on that sort of thing. And you can look at the speech that he does in the nursery about 5 different ways. You can see it as tongue in cheek. You can see it as totally serious. You can see it, as a Deus Ex Machina for what's about to happen. A lead into that. It's Rutger Hauer, so he can read wallpaper. I don't care.
Yeah. Gordon?
I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10, mostly because I wish that the ending had set up like a series of franchises. So it's got Rutger Hauer with his shotgun, and he starts going from town to town, cleaning things up. It's like maybe one he
Hobo
goes.
with a katana.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe he meets up with Danny Trejo's Machete, and they team up and do stuff.
They drive around in
that's
an
a
18-wheeler full of caskets, so they clean up their own messes.
Yeah, they're kind of like Hardcastle and McCormick, but with violence.
Yes.
Brian Keith.
Patrick, what do you give this, man?
I give it 9 Mr. Frenches out of 10. Because you take things. I like to think everything starts with a 10, and then stuff goes awry and takes away from that. And so the more room there is for improvement to its core concept, the less it gets. In this, I feel like it set out to do a very specific thing, and it fulfilled it, and it entertained me on the way. So,
yeah.
Daniel, what do you give this, man?
I'd say 8 out of 10, actually.
Cool. Yeah, I think considering what this started out as, a fake trailer, they do a really good job, and Rutger Hauer does a really good job of. It demonstrates. It asks you, when's enough in a chaotic world that you live in. Though you may not have asked for this world, what are you prepared to do now that you're in it and that you've been living in it, really? And it's a really good movie on that premise. So yeah, I'm going to give this a 9.5 out of 10. Really, really fun movie to watch. So, is there anything you guys want to add about the movie at all?
Good movie.
Yeah.
Joe Bob says check it out.
Absolutely. It is a Joe Bob Briggs classic.
Yes.
And like Joel said, you can see this on Tubi.
Yes.
That's where I saw it again.
It's free on TV, but I think it's worth owning though too.
Oh, yeah.
In my opinion. Is there anything you guys want to cover for tomorrow or not?
I'm gonna bow out of it because I'm gonna have to be at work very late tomorrow. So
Okay.
decide.
Yeah.
What's it?
I feel how late you're gonna be like very late as like midnight or 1 or something. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Joel, there's a movie I've been wanting to and Alan, tell me if you want us to wait for you on this, because you might not care or you might. What about The Stuntman?
Oh man.
What The newest one, the new movie.
No, the old
No,
Oh,
no,
the real
Joel.
80s.
Huh.
The one
Oh,
with
The
the
real
real
one.
tool.
Steve Railsback. Well,
Yeah,
let's
let's-
wait then.
Yeah, let's do it Monday or Tuesday because it's a movie that I've wanted to see for the longest time,
Mhm.
and I want to. And tomorrow I'm not going to have time to see it, so let's
Yeah.
wait.
I can tell you what I'd like to talk about then. And let's but I do want Joel, you would really like The Stuntman. I really think so. It's weird in its pacing. It's a strange movie. It doesn't feel like any other film, but it's really good. Why not Dune? The 1984 Dune.
I own it. Sure.
I like that movie. I like it a lot. And I think it's a good film worth talking about. Gordon, Danny, you want to come on and talk about Dune?
Oh, is that on any streaming services?
I think so.
Oh, I have the Blu-ray, so I don't have to worry about.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I don't know if it's-
You know, another movie we could talk about, but me and Jewel already did a review about it, so I'm not sure if you want to, but we could do Watership Down. That movie's awesome.
It's too depressing. I saw that as a kid. That was the only cartoon out when I was a kid, and so all the parents assumed it was okay.
Oh, it ruined
I'm
childhoods
scarred.
from coast to coast.
Yeah,
well, now
it's
you
a
can-
good
well, soon-
movie.
Oh yeah, I agree.
It's a
That
good
is.
movie, but
Oh man, you guys are gonna love this then. In November, the 4K is finally coming out,
All right.
so you can be traumatized in 4K now.
Yeah.
I actually didn't get traumatized by it though because I saw it when I was 31.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's a very different movie.
Okay, I found Dune in the National Archives. I just put it in the chat.
Okay, yeah, there
And
we go.
it's the 1984 Dune. It's not the sci-fi miniseries.
It's the 1984 Dune.
Got it. It's a great movie.
So,
It really is. It's legitimately really good.
Stuntman is also available on Tubi. I just
so
discovered that. So.
Fantastic.
the Stuntman Monday, Dune tomorrow, right?
Sounds good.
I think that sounds terrific.
Lovely.
I love that.
Okay, so I'll see you guys tomorrow night for Dune. Links to Alan Glant's YouTube channel is going to be in the descriptions. Colin's Port After Dark, the only place Competente drinks his beer from. Gordon Dymowski's Amazon page is going to be in the description box. Patrick McCray's Dark Shadows Daybook About is going to be in the description box. Go pick that up. And link to Daniel Culver's YouTube channel, Killenberg, is going to be in the description box. Go give him a sub and check him out. All right, guys, I will see you tomorrow night for Dune. God bless and take care.